How much is 4.4 kilowatt hour? Just 250 naira. Can you also sell the same amount in solar, 4.4 kilowatts per hour? Can you sell it for that same amount? The answer is no, you can't sell it for that amount because it's quite expensive. So now what do I mean by we have been played by the government? I will explain to you. Now, the government have manipulated us. They have manipulated us to the extent to think that solar is the best power energy for anyone to go, or is the solution to have 24 hours light. You know, that is a myth. That is a manipulation, and that is not true. In fact, as I speak to you now, solar is more expensive than the normal grid light that we are having. It's far, far more expensive. If it's not expensive, tell me, you would have seen a lot of people actually selling electricity through solar to people. You know, you see just maybe one in 1 million of that happening. Maybe 1 in 1 million of that happening. And even if you see the 1 in 1 million, it's quite expensive also for anyone selling electricity through solar generation. So there's something going on that we are not really aware of, and that is the fact that they are saying that we are not producing enough megawatts to be able to serve us. You know, it's not that we cannot produce that, but then they made that to be that way. Now, let's use Europe for example. Now, do you know the major source of energy production in Europe? There are 3 of that I know of, and then one of them is coal, the other one is gas, and then the last one is uranium. Now, these 3 elements I just mentioned now, do you know where they are found? They are found in Africa. They got this coal, this uranium, this gas from Africa. Are you getting me? So this is just the propaganda that they are selling to us to make us feel that solar energy is the best way to go for people to have 24 hours. But no, that is the propaganda that was sold to our leaders, and now our leaders are selling it to us. Now Aso Rock is doing solar, making everybody to feel that, oh, we should also go for solar. If the government does not trust the national grid or does not trust the electricity that was produced in Nigeria, you know, for not having 24 hours light, then who are we now to say we want to stay for NEPA? Then the danger of this is that in the future there will not be any electricity aside from solar energy or renewable energy, and that is danger because it is not sustainable. It is quite expensive. If it is sustainable, tell me why Europe, they are shifting away from solar. Europe were once using solar energy, but it was not sustainable. It was expensive. They were using wind mine to produce electricity. It was damn expensive to maintain, very expensive to maintain. And because they cannot maintain it, what did they do? They started focusing on the normal energy, which is coal, which is gas, which is uranium. If you go to South Africa today, well, South Africans can actually talk about this. Every day there are trailers waiting to pack coals to the port. Every day ships are leaving the port in South Africa to Europe. Every day they are moving coals from South Africa. Talk about other African countries, even like Nigeria also. Our gas is also being exported also over there. The same gas that they use in generating electricity there. Why can't we use it to generate electricity here in Nigeria? But then, what do I know? We prefer to actually use the gas to sell it out for other people to be able to generate electricity. Uranium also is also found here in Africa in abundance also. Nigeria happens to be the #1 producer of uranium in Africa here. The other day, Nigeria reported that in just 1 year of taking over and selling uranium, they were able to make $300 billion. Compared to when the France were the one managing it, they only made just 1 billion in a year. Now compared to 300 billion to 1 billion. Look at the distance now. Look at the disparity there. So these people, our leaders that are not focused, that are not futuristic, that do not do anything that better ourselves, that better we the citizens. This is what they are doing. Meanwhile, we have signed an agreement with these people that we will not use coal. They have prevented us from using coal to generate electricity. They have prevented us using gas to produce electricity. They have prevented us using uranium to produce electricity. And there are also other minerals also that are used in generating electricity. But then these major ones I've mentioned, we have been restricted from using it to generate electricity. But then they can be transported to Europe. They can be used to generate electricity in Europe. So you can see the reason why Europe is so angry with these countries in Sahel. They are so angry with them because the effect is already showing. As of last month, 3 countries in Europe were having serious issue with electricity, and these 3 countries were the major supplier of electricity in Europe. I'm talking about Spain, France, and Germany. There was a blackout in Europe, in almost every country in Europe. I'm not talking about 1 hour or 2 hours black. I'm talking about more than 24 hours, more than 11 hours. Some countries like that. France are the ones supplying electricity to UK and some other European countries. Same thing also as Spain. Same thing also as Germany. So these people, their resources is not enough and they need more, and Africa is a place that they can get it. So the question is this: what is wrong with our African leader? Why can't we use this source of energy to produce electricity for Africa? For Nigeria, what happened to our gas? We have abundance of it, and yeah, we cannot use it to generate electricity for ourselves, but rather we are selling a propaganda to the people that solar is the way. No, solar is not the way. Solar is an alternative energy. Solar should be for emergency. It shouldn't be used as a normal distance because it is very expensive. It is expensive. Compare it together now, one could actually sell electricity. How much is 4.4 kilowatt hour? Just 250 naira. Can you also sell the same amount in solar, 4.4 kilowatts per hour? Can you sell it for that same amount? The answer is no, you can't sell it for that amount because it's quite expensive. So we really need to wake up. But this thing we are talking about here is deep, and then the future we are looking at here is to get to a time that they want every one of us to rely on renewable energy. They lie to us that we have sun. Yes, we have sun, but that does not in any way should take a space away or should replace our power grid that we are having. We should generate our electricity from hydro. We should generate our electricity from uranium. We should generate electricity from coal.
My spy, you got the wrong guy.